Hello everyone, welcome to this series of short videos on candlestick patterns. Today is number 13 in our series and we are talking about the Doji. My name is Barbara Armstrong. I'm a senior manager and coach with Charles Schwab. I invite you to follow me on X if you aren't doing so already. My handle at Barb Armstrong CS. Just before we get into discussing the Doji pattern, know that we will be using for our examples the paperMoney software application on the thinkorswim desktop platform. Also keep in mind that everything that we discuss here is for general purposes, information purposes only, nothing to be construed as an individual recommendation or endorsement of any particular chart pattern, stock or investment strategy. Okay, so this is what a doji looks like. And what makes this particular candlestick pattern a doji? Well, it's a candle that has almost no body. The open and the close are very close together. But it has both an upper wick and a lower wick. And so over the course of the day, the bulls and the bears have duked it out and they've come to kind of a draw. And this can be either a bullish sign or a bearish sign, depending on where it appears on the chart. It's considered to be a signal or a potential signal when it occurs at an area of resistance or support. And this small body indicates indecision and a potential shift in market sentiment and a potential trend reversal. But this is not a standalone pattern in that a trader might want to wait for confirmation. So if it occurs at a support level, they might want to wait and see if in fact the stock then moves to the upside the next day, or if it occurs at a resistance level, they might want to wait and make sure that it moves to the downside before they placed a bearish trade. So let's go out and look at some examples on the charts. And we're going to start with AT&T. And if I kind of just zone in here, we can see that, you know, back in September of 2025, we had this big up day, and then we get this candle of indecision. And over the course of the day, the stock hit a new high, and then it came down below where it opened. But at the end of the day, it closed at 29.59, which was 1 penny higher than where it opened. And if we're waiting for confirmation, a trader would have had it the next day when it gapped down on the open. And then we saw it rally, and then we have this another candle of indecision or another doji pattern occurring, where once again the fight ended up with a close 1 penny above where it opened on that day. And if we were waiting for confirmation that this uptrend might be complete, a trader would have had it the next day when it started to move to the downside, which it then continued to do right up until, you know, the end of, actually the beginning of November, where, you know, we saw some big down days, and then we get this candle of indecision where at the end of the day, this closed 3 pennies below where it opened. And again, if we're looking for confirmation that this downtrend might be ending, we'd look for a close, you know, above the high of this low day, and we would have, you know, had that the following day. Now, to look at another example, we might come to Tesla. And with Tesla, you know, we just recently saw, you know, zoning in here, this doji pattern occur at an area of support, and, you know, after a big down day. And so this could be a bullish sign, and what would make that bullish is confirmation in the next day, you know, it closing above that high of the low day or trading above the high, and we did see that happen. We want to look at a last example. I'm going to take you to a cruise line, the Royal Caribbean. And again, we see both bullish and bearish examples here. Here, you know, we had an uptrend, then this candle of indecision, this doji pattern, followed by a down day. And then here, like we saw with Tesla just a moment ago, this stock came down to a former level of support. We get, 3 big down days in a row, followed by this candle of indecision, this doji pattern, and a trader looking for confirmation would have had it the next day when it started to move to the upside. So I hope you have found this conversation around the doji pattern helpful. Again, you're welcome to follow me in the land of X, Barbara Armstrong CS. Stay tuned for the next one in this series coming soon. If you missed the first 12, I will post a link in the show notes below to the entire set of mini sessions on candlestick patterns. Take care, everyone. Have an awesome day.